Hi there, welcome to the latest news and discussions within the Noah Presgrove case. Today I've got some explosive news to share with you, almost like a showdown between the likes of Kaden Pressy, Stevie Howard and Stevie Howard's sister, almost a 2-against-1 situation, which some people in the background are claiming a form of gaslighting. The way I see it, it seems like Kaden is under attack verbally from different people, if you would call it within the community, more so specifically Facebook. So like key people within the case directly, such as partygoers or parents of partygoers and those connected. Whilst people within the community have felt that Kaden has been telling the truth and shedding light on the situation and what went down at the party, others aren't too pleased with hearing it, such as Stevie Howard. And we've seen how Stevie Howard has behaved previously. If you didn't know who Stevie Howard is, also known as SH, she is the homeowner of the party house and the mother to Kaden Combs and Avery Combs, Avery being the birthday girl at the time of the party. So that's out there for you. Welcome to anyone watching in this live premiere, and those in the background. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat on the right hand side of the screen. If you're watching on catch up, if anyone wants to elaborate or you have questions, leave all your thoughts down below under this video. It does help spread awareness with the case and keep these videos alive, which then enable to spread more awareness in the case itself. So leave all your thoughts down below. Also, below you will find a pinned comment by me with some additional links if you want to support this channel. There you go. You'll also find a link to my earlier video that I uploaded today down below. Be sure to check it out once you've finished watching this. For small context, not to spoil too much, the video that I did early on today was actually like insider information explaining as to why the Noah Presgrove Army, the informal group, not the official one, but still a popular page, why it became private just recently. It's been explained, it's been outlined, you can see it for yourself. Be sure to watch my earlier video for that information, right? With that being said, right now we need to focus on the recent news that's gone on with the likes of Kaden Pressy, because he has been more vocal in recent time. Granted, I did a previous video to do with Kaden already, and that was a couple of days ago, where Kaden was outright calling and exposing Jack Newton, Noah's best friend, as being kind of a liar. Jack claiming to have been asleep at the party, Kaden saying, nope, Jack was fully awake and around Noah, and so were everyone else. So it's a lie. Quite shocking to some people. Interesting revelations coming on out already then. Could have rubbed the wrong way with others, and that's what's led to some resistance and backlash since. This video was supposed to be done yesterday, I believe, but I had to change it up because it was yesterday when the page became private on Facebook, so I couldn't really do much. But credit to the odd viewer on my channel who was able to get hold of the screenshots. Very good of them. I don't want to say their name just in case, I don't know, any messy situations, but they know who they are. Credit to them. And also just in general, as for last night, big shout out to Skeptical for her support on the channel with her super chat. Very good to see. And being honest, when it comes to certain super chats, especially I guess it's to do with the amount, but the higher amounts, the colours are a lot more visually pleasing. Bit random that, but I just wanted to share with you my thoughts. You know, the dark red or the bright pink or purple, nice colours. I like how they've displayed it on YouTube. And if you didn't know, there have been updates on YouTube in recent time. I don't know if it applies to gifted memberships, but it does apply to super chats, super stickers, that when people do send them towards a channel such as mine, you can actually start liking them and even giving it like a heart. Do you know, like how you would with a YouTube comment? It's the same now with people showing support on the channel, so you can actually directly respond on the spot, and everyone else can by liking it. So it's just another nice interactive feature on YouTube which has been added, and I've noticed it recently. Also, I can now pin comments to the top. So if there's an important question or point, I can pin it within the chat. Or if there was a bit of a degenerative person that was, showing sheer stupidity, I could even pin that as well so everyone can see it themselves, like a public exhibition, whatever you want to call it, right? So with that small talk out the way and the introduction, we need to get straight into this video right now. The order of how we'll do things. First, I will show you a page post from Reddit, credit to them, which was reposting the original comment by SH Sister, Stevie Howard's sister, who's claiming to be in the presence of Kaden, I think maybe morning time on Monday, waking him up from the party. Does that mean that Stevie Howard's sister was there all throughout the party? Not quite sure, but she was there at some point, and what she's claiming. Though Kaden doesn't seem to agree with it, because Kaden in another response was, "Are you sure about that?" So maybe the Howards are putting false words into other people's mouths. Some shifty, dodgy things are going on. That's why we need to look at that first. And that was the order it was posted in originally. That's what then led to Kaden responding. And then that's what then led to Stevie Howard stepping on in, defending her sister. You see how things are going. People at war with one another within the case. And it's very interesting because this time around it's within the case and not actually as much in the community as we've seen with like the Dylan Rounds situation. So it's different. Now, let's get straight into the post of Stevie Howard's sister. Here we are, posted 2 days ago. The title, Stevie Howard's sister claims she woke up KP. KP known as Kaden Pressy. Click on this photo here. There's about 2 pages. I'll zoom in just so it's a bit easier for you to read. It is blanked out because of Reddit policy and privacy. You got to follow the rules. But in response to a person called Alicia Lee, SH's sister says, "I'm Stevie's sister, and yes, I did wake your son up that morning." Right, so SH responding back to Alicia Lee must be the mother of Kaden Pressy. Alicia Lee Pressy, maybe? Okay, this is making more sense now. A direct response to Kaden Pressy's mother by the hands of Stevie Howard's sister. God, the way all these people are interacting with one another. Okay, so I'm Stevie's sister and I woke your son up, Kaden Pressy, in the morning time at the party house. I have my phone records and location data, plus I have 4 witnesses that watched me walk into the house and wake up your son and a couple of others that morning I arrived on the scene. Is that so? But at what time exactly? It doesn't seem to be given here. She says she's got proof that it happened and that there were witnesses present too. But have those witnesses backed her up? Not from what I've seen or heard yet. And people don't keep stories consistent with one another, even if they were all there in on it together or just present in the moment. And yeah, what is going on here? What's the point? Kaden doesn't agree with this in his response, but what's the whole point behind this, and why has it only come out in recent time, I wonder, when it could have been said a long time ago? And what else do we have here? Wake up your son, a couple of us that morning. So the reason why it's important to know the timing of this as to when Stevie Howard's sister came into the party house to wake people up, what was the purpose of that? Why did she come round to wake people up? Why did it have to be the sister? Why wasn't it the Stevie herself, the mother of Carter Combs and Avery Combs, out of concern? Is this all in relation to do with hearing the news of the death of Noah Presgrove on the Monday? And that's why Stevie's sister came on down to wake people up to let people know what's happened? But that would make no sense, considering supposedly people were already awake and alert and aware of Noah's passing, all because of Jack Newton, who told people at 5:15 in the morning. So at what time did Stevie's sister come down? Before or after 5:15? Because if it was after 5:15, Well, it wouldn't make sense waking people up to possibly let them know what's happened, because they would have already have known, and most likely they would have been awake as well to try and maybe have a look at the scene, because it was said originally that some of the guys were put into a truck, loaded up, driven down the highway, and then they were ordered to return back to the house. So they would have already been up and awake by then. So what's going on there? As for Jack Newton as well, supposedly oversleeping, but that story doesn't seem to be consistent within the case, because earlier on, Kaden said, early hours of the morning, that Jack wasn't asleep at all. So there's that as well. Let me know your thoughts as to what you think about this. Is it significant or not? Do you believe it or not? This person seems to be confident in what they say. So, yeah, in the house, wake up your son and a couple of us. That morning, I arrived on the scene. When you say arrived on the scene, that sounds like a crime scene. I arrived at the scene of the crime. But wasn't the scene down the highway? Using the word scene sounds weird when in some way you're related to family that owned that house. I mean, it's like if, let's say, a brother or sister who lives in that house, or they once did, and that one of their other family members does live in it, and then you came on down to visit, you don't say, oh yeah, I just went on down to visit the house I previously lived in. I've come on down to the scene. I visited the scene. No, you don't say that. You use the word scene when you're describing a possible case, some kind of criminal investigation. That's why you got the term crime scene, right? You returned to the scene. You visited the scene where something bad, dodgy, unexplainable had happened. And as it's been worded in the case, no foul play at the house party, supposedly, as the original story was, but it was something to do with the highway and away from the house. So it's weird language what Stevie's sister is saying here by I came to the scene, arriving. That's weird, that. I am not a liar, never have been. I'm a credible person. Right, the fact that you've actually got to tell people how credible you are, the fact that you have to try and convince other people and describe yourself, clearly shows that you've lost the argument to begin with, and possibly a bit of self-doubt within yourself. If you know you're good, you don't need to tell people you're good. Your actions should do the talking itself, right? Why should you have to prove anything to anyone in certain moments? So that's interesting. I'm a credible person and I can back that up. I have given my statements to my attorney and have reached out to the LE recently. Right, so do we need to make a big song and dance about it? Now, it depends what you can and can't say publicly, but I did see a post on Reddit recently saying how who's got an attorney, who's got a lawyer, etc. And are they the same ones speaking online publicly? Should they be allowed to do that? Or shouldn't they keep their mouths shut whilst the investigation is ongoing, right? Makes you think some people within the case being a bit loudmouth, too talkative when they should possibly be quiet. Yeah. So the sister says, so yes, there are some inconsistencies with his account. So basically, what Stevie Howard's sister is claiming towards the mother of Kaden Pressy, directly telling her that your son, Kaden Pressy, has made inconsistencies with his account of what happened on the day. Okay. I wasn't trying to get involved or withhold information from LE, but when I saw your son's post last week, I immediately reached out to my attorney and LE to share with them my concerns. Right, so from this, Stevie Howard's sister, who hasn't been mentioned before from what I'm aware of within the case, and specifically within the house party scene, if you want to call it like that, from the Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Not once did I hear about the sister of Stevie being brought up, nor was the sister even there at the house party. So why should this even concern her, right? Why is Stevie's sister stepping on in and correcting what Kaden Pressy has had to say recently? I mean, we've seen it ourselves, what Kaden has had to say recently, and it wasn't that deep. I guess it depends which one, though, because I think there might have been two. I think we saw an official statement by Kaden, and then more so recently there was another response by Kaden in the other page, Noah Presgrove's Army, I think, calling out Jack Newton. So it's a little bit all over. It depends exactly as to which post Stevie Howard's sister is responding back to, because if it's only to do with where Kaden was calling out Jack Newton, why would Stevie Howard's sister need to step in to defend Jack Newton when they're not related and they're not together, none of that odd things happening? It's a little bit weird, isn't it? Unless there's some kind of connection between Carter Combs at the time, the boyfriend, Jack Newton, and then Carter Combs, whose mother is Stevie Howard, and then Stevie Howard, who's got a sister called whoever, who's commenting here, have all connected together, concocted some kind of plan to almost damage the credibility of, Kaden Pressy, maybe. But the bit about saying, when I saw your son's post, Kaden Pressy's post last week, I immediately reached out to my attorney. Why? Why do you have to reach out to your attorney? What do you have to hide? Why do you have to defend yourself? If the sister wasn't even there at the time and it doesn't even concern her, why does she need an attorney? Don't people only need an attorney when you could be caught up directly within a case, such as you being there at the scene, being treated as a person of interest, being questioned, interrogated, if your name's not been cleared yet, if there is evidence against you? If you got nothing to do with the party and you got nothing to do with the time of his Noah Presgrove's death because you was nowhere near, then why the hell are you putting your foot in the door? Why are you getting involved then? What's this all about? It's kind of the same with Stevie Howard, the homeowner. She wasn't even there at the party. She wasn't even present. So why does it really concern her? It's because, at least for Stevie Howard, her daughters, Carter and Avery, were there at the party. So you can understand why the mother would be getting involved to defend the names of those people. But as for the sister, no need. Well, not that I can think of. Now, what do we have here? We don't need to zoom in here because it's really zoomed in already. So I'm assuming that this is by the same person, once again, the sister of Stevie Howard, saying after 8 a.m. God, that's getting on a bit. My dad called her after 7 after our hired hand beat on the door and woke him up. Our hired hand? Eh? Do you mean tired hand? Our tired hand as we were beating on the door repeatedly and it got tired. Well, you shouldn't get that tired just by knocking on the door. It sounds a bit exaggerative. But if you're saying it as hired hand, well, that can mean other things. Hired gun, hired mercenary, hired contract killer. What is going on with this language and wording? Very easy to misunderstand the situations. Really not good, is it? People really need to improve their vocabulary or just at least their sentencing structuring and appropriate wording for sure. But yeah, whoever, beating on the door, woke Kaden Pressy up. Kaden was getting dressed to go down there. Go down where? I'm assuming by go down there being the scene of where Noah was found. Called her, woke her up. Woke who up? Carter, Avery, because you're family, maybe. She came to Terrell because I was out of town. She was my other sister with her hubby and family, who's also supposed to be one of the first in. You mean on scene. Lol. Lol, what's so funny about that? She was the closest at the time. She got to Terrell after 8 or so. Right, so it's poorly worded this, unfortunately, because the name's blanked. I'm not too sure if this is what the sister of Stevie Howard is saying, or if it's Stevie Howard herself speaking on behalf of the sister and where the sister was at the time on the day. It's either one or the other. But by saying he and she at the house, he getting dressed, I'm assuming means Kaden. And as for waking her up. I don't know who's her because it only seems to imply one person. And who else would that be? All I can think of is either Carter or Avery, because they're at the house, at the party, related to the sister of Stevie Howard, so they're all connected there, so you can understand the references there, but still, it's just a bit dodgy how it's worded. She came to Terrell. Who's she came to Terrell? The sister of Stevie Howard? Or are we saying someone else's name? I don't know about this one personally, but just wanted to share that with you. But let's see what people have had to say in the comments, right? Reaction-wise. Excellent. Interesting name. I just want to reference that the Justice for Noah Presgrove Facebook page is moderated by his family, and as well it's public. The Justice for Noah Presgrove Army page, also known as Noah Presgrove's Army, is not moderated by his family. Okay? But in fairness, the Noah Presgrove Army page, whilst it's private at this moment in time, as I said, more discussions come out from there. And because there's more freedom of speech over there compared to the family page, Justice for Noah Presgrove, it means that Noah's Army brings in the likes of Stevie Howard, the sister, maybe Jack Newton, and some other people who are a bit dodgy or shady on and off. So with freedom of speech comes more discussions, but also comes possible resistance and backlash. Kaden has appeared on that page as well recently, hence why there's been a response from the likes of Stevie Howard, Stevie Howard's sister, and we're going to get more into that shortly. Don't worry. Make sure to stick around. You don't want to miss anything. But let's just see the reactions of people here. What did they have to say about this sister suddenly popping in all of a sudden? So, okay, makes me wonder why they didn't post this on there. What you mean on the official page? What does it matter which page it came off of? Just curious. As I stated above, the first page is monitored. Sorry, it's just a spelling. I mean, I don't know if it's autocorrect, but he's saying that the first page, the official page, is monitored by his family, Noah Presgrove's family. The army page is not. To most people, we would agree that the information posted on the family page should be taken more serious. Yes, true. The army page, more informal, lets anyone on there to comment and can't control the amount of information being said, whether it's fake or fact. Now, there has been some truth, I believe, so like when Kaden's got involved on the page, but there can come resistance. I don't know why when we click on responses it doesn't load, but never mind. Hadley says, okay, I'm a bit confused. You'd think they would collectively get together and release a joint statement if they wanted to publicly clarify things, that being Stevie Howard and her sister together. I agree. Aside from Kaden Pressy, all these other individual posts just make them seem unhinged, chaotic, as well, disorganised and out of sync. Okay? These people are related. These people are close. They weren't at the party themselves, but they are connected to people that were, and yet the story seemed to be a bit all over. And because it's out of sync, it's like they're just yapping and taking little jabs here and there to discredit others and to counter as well the likes of Kaden Pressy, who was actually there, who would have seen it for himself, who heard things himself, and you get these adults that could come across as a bit patronising, saying, actually, your son, Kaden Pressy, has got a few things wrong. He's made a few mistakes. Bitch, you're not even from the party. You're not even from there. You weren't even there at the time. How would they know more than someone who was actually at the party? It's a bit silly, isn't it? Anyway, so the sister of... Oh, I keep getting mixed up with the names. It's like a blank in my head. The sister of Stevie Howard says she arrived at 8 a.m. and woke up the kids, ? So this person's questioning as well because it was poorly worded in that second page response. Didn't other adults arrive at 6 a.m. and bleach and clean and also wake up the kids? And Jack Newton woke up everyone at 5:15? Yeah, that's what we've heard, 5:15. If Jack Newton already woke people up at the party, then why is the sister saying at 8 a.m. she got there and woke the kids up? 8 a.m. They wouldn't have been asleep still at 8 a.m. Very likely the news coming out at least at 5:53 in the morning by that truck driver, I think called TH, if that's the correct initials, who found Noah, who reported it to authorities, police, LE, the highway patrol, at least at 5:53. And if it is true that Jack Newton at 5:15 earlier on heard about it sooner, but didn't report it to the police at the time though, which is very weird, making it back to the party home, telling everyone, they would have been awake. They would have been awake early in the morning. And if that wasn't the case, so like Jack 5:15, if that wasn't even true and that was ruled out, let's just say, even at 5:53 when it became more apparent, and let's say at 6:05, not long after the report being made to police, 6:05 supposedly Jack Newton at the scene. That's still hours before 8 a.m. That's still hours before the sister of Stevie Howard made it down to the property to wake people up. So hours before that, the people at the party would have already been made awake, alerted as for the news of Noah Presgrove's death. They wouldn't have overslept. What is this whole thing with people sleeping at a time, claiming to be asleep when they weren't, claims that they slept or overslept for a long period when they were already awake because of hearing the news earlier on in the morning? So the sister turns up late. The sister is claiming to be aware of the death of Noah Presgrove, hence why she's gone down to the party house to let everybody else know. What the actual hell? How does Stevie Howard's sister, who wasn't even there at the party to see anything, who wasn't even that nearby, ended up hearing and finding out the news before people at the party house who last saw Noah, who were much closer to where Noah was found dead? That just sounds really dodgy. I'd argue and say it'd be more likely that the people that actually are locals in the area, or at least local in the area at the time, such as at the party, those type of people would be the first or second to hear about the news of Noah's passing, or it be directly through one of the partygoers hearing about it at the scene and then relaying it onto those back at the house, or locals nearby seeing police, seeing sirens, whatever you want to call it, firsthand, because they're there, they can see it, they can hear it, they're not far away. And yet this sister seemed to know before the partygoers who were closer, so the sister came on down to alert people, to let Kaden know. But supposedly Kaden was already fully aware of what's happened before this sister came on down of Stevie Howard. So what a mess. I could understand Kaden Pressy being frustrated by this type of stuff, right? Let's move on. Few more responses. It's tough sifting through all these individual comments. I know as mods we have to sift through the information being posted and each individual's comment so we understand the confusion. True. Hadley, you guys are seriously impressive. I mean that. This is my first time being part of a community like this and I admire you all. I'm sure I can speak for most when I say thank you. All of your mods are appreciated. We are definitely trying our best. Appreciate you seeing us, and I agree with you about why they should collectively come together and post. Yes, for more clarity, for more trust. They want to be seen with higher credibility. They need to present themselves a lot better. They need to be more collective and in consensus with one another. When there's a breakdown in communication with those together, it's not a good look. Now, this person, James Sandwiches. Okay, we've got some jam sandwiches. Oh, not James, jam sandwich. I like jam. So Jam says, me personally, I believe Kaden Pressy. He says he never went back to sleep after Jack Newton ran into the house at 5:15 a.m. I think Stevie's sister, Sarah, So we've got the name now. Sarah, what would be the last name? Sarah Howard? No, that can't be right. Sarah whoever. Just call her Sarah. Stevie Howard's sister, called Sarah, just incriminated herself with her statement on Facebook and then dirty deleted it. Dirty deletes. Oh, that sounds like some cringy terminology from the Dylan Rounds community. But I get what's being said here. So they've made a mistake, and now they're trying to hide it. Yeah, suspicious. At this point, I'm curious, who wasn't there at the time or after? So, 5:15 a.m. It's been said a lot now. I think it's been brought by Jack Newton, it's been brought by Kaden, it's been brought by a few different people. 5:15 a.m. in the morning. Jack, alerted and aware of the news of Noah Presgrove's death, tells people back at the party house. Obviously, people are awake or sober up because of the shocking news. And yet, Sarah, Stevie Howard's sister, says she got there at 8 in the morning and saying that Kaden was asleep and some other people. And the sister was there, Sarah, to let everyone know what's happened to Noah. That is silly, that. That is really silly. And supposedly, that comment made has been deleted since, I think, as it's mentioned here. Now, be kind. I also think she incriminated herself. Right. Well, yeah, if people think they've made mistakes or they've messed up, they might be thinking, hope no one saw that. Better private the comment, better delete it. But, if people have seen it already, people have got screenshots, thank God. Now, Gibby says, please notice who that comment is addressed to. Kaden Pressy's mum. Exactly. That's when the bashing and twisting of his words began. That's when we all requested and got administration to find out if we could help KP with funds, money, to speak to an ATI. Does that mean attorney? That's how and where the information on how to donate came about. Right, okay. In response, thanks for pointing that out. I honestly thought the sisters decided to divide and conquer in maligning LEL. Who's EL and KP? This is the reason why I believed SL directed the post to EL. Who the hell is SL? EL? Who are those two people? Let me know in the comments. Whereas Stevie Howard, SH, has been engaging with KP, Kaden Pressy. Right. SH, Stevie Howard, has allegedly claimed to have a video of Kaden Pressy helping with the overturned ATV, to which Kaden said he couldn't because he was wearing a knee brace. Then apparently, Stevie Howard wrote that the other kids told her that Noah had ramen noodles and yogurt before walking out of the house. What? It's been a while since I read Noah's autopsy report. Wouldn't that have been listed on the report? What? For what he ate? I don't know. What, you're going to start looking through Noah's intestines? Oh, we can see a few noodles inside. The hell? Okay. Let me know your thoughts there. So, there was yet another adult on the scene who didn't call 911. Another adult who was present where minors were being served alcohol whilst having access to firearms. Another adult who helped clean up the house before authorities could figure out where Noah was coming from. Got it, thanks for confirming. So, about cleaning the house. Personally, I don't know if I've got the screenshot of it today. I'm not sure if it's on Reddit. So I just want to say it clearly right now. It's very important, so everyone make sure to listen in. I saw directly from what Stevie Howard had to say about the house being cleaned. Stevie Howard said, post-death of Noah Presgrove, the house wasn't cleaned and wasn't entered by anyone for over 1 month. Has anyone seen or heard that before? Because that's exactly what Stevie Howard said, and I saw it on the Facebook page a few days ago, where it was reposted or it was just posted recently directly by her. It was said that the party house was not touched, wasn't cleaned for over a month. post-death of Noah Presgrove. Well, if that's the case, where did Avery and Carter Combs live at? Where did Stevie live at then? Was it down the road in that trailer, in that other building nearby? Because we've got multiple buildings and they own that land and area, so maybe. But just let me know your reactions about that the house wasn't clean for over 1 month and no one entered that house. Right, the way that's being worded, they're making it sound like a bloody crime scene. And was anything found there, like foul play by police? No. Was there an actual crime scene treated at that place? Not from what I'm aware of, but how Stevie is wording it as. It's like, it was untouched, no one stayed in it because we had to keep away because of an investigation maybe, because it could harm the case, there could be key vital evidence there. Well, not much seemed to come out about it, did there? Because more focus, more questioning, more concern was on the highway further away, like a mile away north. So, make of that what you will. I don't believe Stevie Howard's sister, Sarah. Right. Okay, so SL are the initials for the sister of Stevie Howard. Stevie Howard's sister, SL, Sarah, whatever her last name is, beginning with an L. Right, there's another one to add to the dictionary. So, I don't believe Sarah was at the party. She wasn't. Sarah isn't claiming to be at the party at the time. Sarah is saying that she went down to the house in the morning of Monday when the party came to an end, right? The second SS. What does that mean, the second SS? Well, I can think of one thing, but that's in the past. Is Sarah Howard's post. Someone had asked what time their dad called Sarah. Sarah's post of arrived on the scene was interesting. If I was going to my sister's house, I would write it as such and not refer to it as a scene. Exactly. That's exactly how I worded it earlier on. Okay. Even if you went to a stranger's house, as dodgy as that may sound, even if you went to a police station, even if you went to a hospital, you don't call it the scene or I went to a scene, right? Nothing happened there. No event has happened there. If there was an event, if something bad did happen there, you'd call it a scene, okay? Well, isn't the party house, an event in which things happened at, and that's why it's called a scene? Yeah, but that's implying that Noah Presgrove died at the house, hence it being called the scene. And that's why the sister called it that when going on down. And if Stevie Howard is claiming that it's not been cleaned for over a month and no one entered it, then it must be a scene. Crime scene? Yeah, but it's not been treated as a criminal investigation, this. Well, at least previously it wasn't by the police. Yeah, very weird. Very weird. Also, this timeline is crazy. If Sarah had gone to Stevie Howard's house after 8 a.m. and had awakened everyone, then the sun would be way up. Why then did TH, the truck driver, not see Kaden Pressy and the other young men arrive where Noah was found? Didn't SH Sarah say on some other post I read how Kaden Pressy was wrong with being awakened at 5:15? It was more likely 6:15. Why would Sarah, the sister who wasn't even there at the party, be saying what actually happened when Kaden was? That's patronising. You could say it's gaslighting. Be Kind says, I believe Highway 81 was closed by then, so I guess she took one of those east-west roads to get there. So maybe it took longer to get down to the place. That would make sense. Okay. What's here? Another adult person who caused the death of a minor through action or inaction to prevent or stop a progression of prohibited activity. Oklahoma Social is pretty explicit to start. This is a felony. What's this? Who caused the death of a minor through action or inaction to prevent or stop? Prohibit, I don't know what's this all about. Obstruction, defiling a crime scene, etc. can start racking up consecutive charges. You could end up with 15 to 20 years in big boy jail if you dance around in the pig pen long enough. I would turn I would turn state's evidence for immunity before someone else rolled over on me. Demonstrate. Gibby, read Sarah's statement. I read Sarah's statement yesterday, but never saw the second post claiming 8 a.m. No way she was waking up the kids at 8 a.m. True, I agree. All up, picked up by others, were cleaning up, etc. It's buried in the reply thread. Still, I just don't understand how they believe the sister's statement helps with their timeline. Yes, I read it after commenting last night. Sarah says sister... Oh no, SH. Oh, bloody hell. Same letters as well. Stevie Howard says the sister arrived at 8 a.m. I think they're getting all the kids mixed up. Although Kaden Pressy looks different than the other kids and had a pink leg brace. Did he? Ellie has its hands busy figuring out a timeline for this case. Who is getting all the kids mixed up? Stevie Howard believes what? Jack Newton. Oh, right, okay. Here we go. Here's more abbreviations. So, what's been worded here is Stevie Howard believes what Jack Newton, her daughters Carter Combs, Avery Combs, and possibly Jasmine Milan have told her. So they're all in on it together. She claims the other kids back up what she's been told. She's the only one who's regularly posting about second-hand information. Of the people who was at the party Sunday night, Kaden Pressy is the only one who has shared his timeline of events and hasn't flopped on what transpired that night, remaining consistent. Nevertheless, I agree with you about LE sorting through the timeline of events. LE means law enforcement, not the name of someone, in case you're wondering. I would think the FBI would be an immense help with this. So the FBI hasn't got involved yet, in case anyone's wondering. Hole. What is SH sister name? Sarah Long. Unfortunate last name. Sarah Long. Right. We've got the answers there now. So whenever you see SL, it means Sarah Long. I think we saw one saying EL. So whose name's that? Something Long, the sister to Sarah, or connected? I don't know. But yeah, thank you. Who is TH? The truck driver. Oh, God. TH? TH is the truck driver that was on scene at 5:53 that reported it to the police about coming across Noah Presgrove's body on the highway. Right. So, get off. I don't care about that using Google. Right, so that's got in the way of the screen, but don't worry. So, Stevie Howard's sister, called Sarah Long, claims to know a lot, even though she wasn't even there at the party, and is claiming that Kaden Pressy, who was actually there to see it all happen, or most of it, is wrong. Let's see what Kaden has had to say recently. Here we are. So this is actually a post from Noah Presgrove's army in which Kaden Pressy is classified as a top contributor. You also see Stevie Howard responding directly to Kaden Pressy. Now, I believe this response may not be directly to do with what the sister Sarah Long of Stevie Howard has had to say. There is a separate response to that in which, as I said, Kaden responded saying, "Are you sure about that?" Now, I don't have a screenshot of that, so we'll have to summarise it very quickly right now. If I can get access to the Facebook page, maybe I can make a reference to it at some other point. But basically, what we saw at the start of this video, and if anyone is watching right now, rewind back and catch up. You don't want to miss anything. What we saw with the first Reddit post and repost from Facebook, Sarah Long, Stevie Howard's sister, calling out and responding to Kaden Pressy's mother by saying that your son has got things wrong within the case, and that's quite serious. And because of that, and what Kaden has said recently with his statements, I've had to reach out to my own attorney. Why? You need to protect yourself? Why are you involved? A bit odd there. So, Sarah Long said 8 a.m, made it to the party house, woke up Kaden Pressy, who was asleep. Kaden Pressy previously has stated that at around 5:15, he was awake or was awoken by the likes of Jack Newton, who got back to the house claiming and saying how Noah's dead. So people would have been woken up hours before Sarah got to the house, in which Sarah claimed everyone was asleep. That's a lie. So basically, Kaden responded back to that recently saying, Sarah, without saying her name, are you sure about that? I think you got it wrong. That's basically what was being said. And that Kaden was getting at, that he's being attacked by the sister, gaslighted, being made to appear wrong in the wrong, with the wrong information when he's in the right. Okay, so Kaden is basically under attack from fully grown adults who are related to the likes of Kaden Combs, Avery Combs, who were at the party at the time. But these parents, these adults, weren't present, but are claiming to know more than the likes of Kaden, who was actually there. Kind of patronising, right? A form of discrediting, trying to throw people off in trust. So let's zoom in, just so it's easier for you to read. So this specific response, 3 hours ago at the time of whenever it was screenshotted, Kaden says, I know this is off topic, but I thought I should put this out there for y'all to dwell and think on. On May 23rd, 2024, I made my post about what I experienced those nights. And up until, that was during the party, and up until then, Stevie Howard, the homeowner, and their family swore up and down that it was a hit and run. And now that I have came public with my story, they have been saying all of this false information about me, and I will not be silenced. I will stand by everything I have said in a court of law or on a lie detector test, also known as polygraph. I will stand up for you, Noah Presgrove, no matter what faces me. So not only is Kaden consistent in what he says and in recounting his experience at the party of what went down, Kaden holding it together, Kaden, a one-man army, holding it together better than others who may be in on it, or others who are close tied with one another, who can't get a same sentence straight or story. That's why when you're operating by yourself, you can get more consistency, and I don't know, it's just more practical and functional, right? So with Kaden opening up with his accounts, with what he witnessed, his thoughts, his beliefs, the timeline, the timestamps, the likes of Stevie Howard, the likes of Stevie Howard's sister, Sarah Long, have got in between of it all and have been publicly saying that what Kaden has said is false information, trying to silence Kaden. Fully grown adults, much older in age and experience in life, are putting down a 20-year-old known as Kaden, who's a good friend of Noah Presgrove and present at the party. How embarrassing is that by these fully grown females, the way they're acting? Is it that typical over emotional instinct within them that they feel like they have to be right and they're always in the right? Or more so the instinct of trying to look out for their own kind and family, in which if Kaden gets in the way of it, who knows? See, this is the thing. If Kaden, for whatever reason, not that it will happen, not that it has happened, I don't know personally, but if at any point Kaden Combs or Avery Combs were somewhat responsible somehow in the case and Kaden shed light upon it, just imagine how Stevie Howard and Sarah Long, the sister, would respond. Because if they've already verbally attacked Kaden and gaslighted him in the past to try and silence him and say that you're wrong, just imagine how they would react now if Kaden tried exposing one of their family members. They would probably lose it. So there's been an uproar on Facebook since of community members that are trying to look out for Kaden and help him to be able to stay alive. Let's be realistic, right? This could result in another death, okay? If Kaden is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and because Stevie Howard has already claimed that if she was responsible for Noah's death and some other of the family members, they would do a better job at disposing Noah, well, and then Stevie saying to some random person online saying, you're next. What if Kaden Pressy is next? What if Kaden Pressy is silenced, or if not worse, murdered by the hands of some of these darker forces just because Kaden is telling the truth? So, messy situation, messy time, right? Could even call it a form of bullying, 2 against 1. Much older people that should know better, who are trying to diminish and correct Kaden. Kaden being at the party, Stevie, Sarah not. How would they know more when they weren't even there? That's why it sounds so silly, right? But yeah, that's what was said by Kaden. And this is the response by Stevie just below. Yeah, I still say it's a hit and run, kid. Never said any different. So, maybe she's consistent there. But even if Stevie Howard has said that for some time, consistent, yeah. Consistently delusional, more than likely. Because we need to remember the autopsy report as well, and I did do a video of it already in terms of the reconstruction of how injuries could be sustained to the body. And if you want to check that out, you can always look back at my previous video. It is outlined. It's called Reconstruction in the title. You'll find it. Stevie Howard, the way she calls Kaden a kid, I mean, that just might be slang. Realistically, you're not a kid at the age of 18, 20, etc. You can be classified as a young man or a young adult, but everyone has the different terms and references. It's nothing too deep there. But I was just questioning it here because if Stevie has come across rude in the past, argumentative, insults being thrown about, maybe Stevie here was, I don't know, kind of insulting Kaden by calling him a kid, like he doesn't know what he's talking about, like he's been a naughty child and he's been told off by Stevie. I wasn't too sure how the message was being put across, but Stevie says, it's never changed. I've always believed that Noah Presgrove was killed in a hit and run. Well, that makes no sense, because in a hit and run, likely other parts of the body would have been damaged. That wasn't the case. His legs were okay, his arms were okay, his hands, well, damaged there. But like, when you get hit by a moving vehicle, you know, it's most likely your legs, your lower part to get hit first, and the impact of that can break your leg, could break your femur, could break your hip. And then you would get flung over the car or flung aside depending the height of it. You know how it goes. You've seen it in movies. You may have even seen it in real life, someone getting hit by a vehicle. More injuries are sustained elsewhere in the body. In this case, it was only upper body. And the experts, when it came to the autopsy, they said likely a group of guys beat up Noah Presgrove. And yet Stevie Howard thinks it's just a hit and run. But that supposedly has already been ruled out early on. So why is Stevie still pushing that agenda? Is it because she actually knows what did cause the death? And that's why she's trying to spin it in a different direction, misdirection? Or is she just simply delusional? Or both? Let me know your thoughts. The other person that was playing it down was Caleb Newton, Jack Newton. The father of Jack Newton. Caleb Newton, whilst having a bit of a shady past, check my video out last night for reference there. Caleb Newton was saying how he was told. Is he making that up? Or is that what he was actually told? I don't know. But Caleb was saying he was told by police that it wasn't a hit and run. And due to the injuries, it couldn't have been a beating either. So what else could have caused it then? I would like to know in the book and definition of the likes of Caleb Newton or the police, whoever said it first, about the injuries to Noah not being being beaten up. What would the injuries need to be then for it to equal a beating, an ambush, a physical attack, maybe with blunt instruments? How much more damage is needed? I like to say, well, that's been ruled out because of this. Okay, because the injuries sustained are in a certain area of the body, upper body, not lower, where you would expect to see damage if you was hit during a hit and run, for example, or a vehicle. But to say that these extensive, brutal injuries, which would normally be caused by a beating, for Caleb to say, no, those injuries don't equal that. Well, what type of injuries do equal that then? Come on. See, at the end of the day, you could get punched in the face. That could be considered a beating, and that's just from a bruise, swelling on the eye, on the cheek, whatever. You could have a broken orbital bone, a broken nose, smashed teeth, completely bloodied, cuts all over you. You look a lot worse, but still it equates to a beating because that's what's caused it. Varying levels of beatings can equal varying levels of damage sustained. And in Noah Presgrove's case, it was the extreme higher end damage and injuries caused through, likely, some kind of beating. And yet Caleb Newton, the father of Jack, said, no, it doesn't quite equate to a beating. So what does it equate to then, if it's not a hit and run either? So it seems like everyone's got their own little stories and ideas and theories as to what's caused it, but Stevie Howard seems a lot more confident as to what exactly caused it and has remained fixed on that ever since. A hit and run. Weird, right? Weird. Now, if we move on, I think we look at some additional stuff. Is that the same one? I know this is off topic. Okay, I see. So that was the direct response to his post. Same post, just zoomed in. So we don't need to look at that again. Moving on, this must be the comment section of that thread. Portion of it. Jennifer responds back to Stevie Howard. Leave this boy alone. Shame on you. Don't you get it, Stevie? You're busted. You're going down. I'm yelling timber. Is that the song? Kaden Pressy, Stevie Howard, and by the way, your daughter is the one that supplied us with alcohol that night. Whoa. Shots fired, calling back with the truth. Kaden Pressy, present at the party, aware of who was distributing the alcohol, and that kind of claps back to the mother, known as Stevie Howard. So while Stevie Howard or Sarah Long, the sister, could be belittling Kaden and his knowledge and gaslighting him by saying he's wrong, well, shouldn't the mother, the homeowner of the house, and the mother to the daughter of Carter Combs or Avery Combs, whichever one of those which Kaden is referring to for supplying alcohol, aren't they in the wrong? It's like these people are taking the moral high ground, but they themselves have effed up in some way, right? So, Kaden Pressy responding back to Stevie Howard. Oh, and by the way, your daughter is the one that supplied us with the alcohol that night. By the way, Stevie Howard, your daughter is the one that supplied underage people with alcohol. Yeah, not a good look, is it? So, we know who's responsible for supplying the alcohol, but did Stevie Howard, the mother, allow it? Was she aware? Maybe. You think of the build-up to the party, planning it. We saw in a previous post by Stevie Howard, responding to whoever, claiming and saying how we weren't aware of certain uninvited guests. I didn't want those people there, but they came along because friends that were invited, those friends brought their own friends who were uninvited guests. You remember that? And some of which were underage. And even if certain friends were invited who may have been underage, alcohol was still provided, right? There was no restraints. There was no restrictions. It was, oh, anyone just come, or you can come. Oh, I'll bring someone else with me. Different ages, but all having access to alcohol. That's very reckless, irresponsible. Because you can have parties, you can have family get-togethers of all different ages. But if you get younger people coming along, it might be out of reach for them to have alcohol, and for good reason, right? That's more responsible. Whereas here, you got a group of young people, no adults about at the time, anything goes, chaos. Now, my question is, Kaden Pressy, which daughter of Stevie Howard is he referring to? Carter Combs or Avery Combs? Avery Combs was the birthday girl at the time, around 22 years of age. So what, she planned the party, she invited who she wanted on the list, and then others tagged along after that. So if that's the case, the party planner, does that also mean that Avery Combs also distributed the alcohol to underage people? Or was it Carter Combs? Or was it both? Kaden here is saying your daughter. But as we know, Stevie has 2 daughters at least, but Kaden's only mentioning one of them, but not the actual name. So maybe to some people they may see this as shocking. Previously it's been stated as a fact regardless. You saw in the party footage as well, drinking, consuming alcohol, so it was kind of a fact to begin with, but it's just reinforcing it once again. And the likes of Kaden that reinforces it, kind of brings back some stability and truth to the case and clarity, which is needed for a long time. But I'm just wondering which daughter was supplying the alcohol. I would think it would be Avery Combs because she's the birthday girl, it's her party, so she has the decisions of the drinks, the food and all of that maybe. As for Carter Combs, well, we saw that guy called Joseph trying to make contact with Jack Newton, trying to build a rapport. And that Joseph individual in the community was saying how Carter Combs is responsible for the alcohol and should be charged for serving it and being responsible for the death of Noah Presgrove. So, different person there. Now, Jennifer responds to Stevie. Stevie Howard, lies, lies, lies. I think they wrote a song about you and your kind. There we go. Moving on. What else? Okay, so Stevie Howard responds back to that claim about her daughter being the one supplying the alcohol. Stevie says, lol, oh, I knew that was coming, hero. What? Good thing we already have written statements otherwise. And the messages from G. Who the hell's G? With a fist bump. You're G, you're God. Are you saying that you've got messages from God? Or messages from G, your gangster? I don't know what's going on here. Stevie can't type properly. To say lol, and even, was it the sister or was it Stevie? Not bloody hell, it's the same person. Not the same person. Bloody names. Was it Sarah Long? Was it Stevie Howard, who we saw earlier on that Reddit post where it was reposted, where they said lol? Why is anyone saying lol in a serious situation? In other times, lol can mean lots of love, but that tends to be meant like when there's a death of someone and you're showing respect, but that can be misunderstood because more popular, the term lol is used for laughing out loud. What is there to laugh about here in terms of Stevie Howard? There might be people responding laughing because they're laughing at Stevie, not with Stevie, because of the stupidity and delusional behaviour and the erratic changes in mood and attitude. But, you know, if there's nothing to laugh about, I don't know why Stevie is making it a bit of a circus show in a way. You know, you're claiming to be serious, you claim to be, you know, you've got the information, you know what's what within the case, you've got your thoughts, but at the same time you're joking. Not much credibility there. You shouldn't be joking about. It's a serious matter, this. It's the death of a case of someone. And it's actually at your property, so there's nothing to be laughing about, right? So, yeah. And it's the response as well. It's kind of like admitting, owning up. So Kaden says, your daughter supplied alcohol that night and as well to underage kids. And Stevie's first response is, lol, oh, I knew that was coming. So Stevie knew that response was coming back to bite her in the back. It was inevitable. So Stevie isn't trying to deny it either. Stevie is basically accepting it, but trying to put a bit of a spin on it by laughing, playing it off. Ha ha ha, oh well. And she says, good thing we already have written statements. Why are those written statements claiming that your daughter didn't supply alcohol? I wonder. And the bit about otherwise and the messages from G, I don't know who the hell G is. Aaron replies to Kaden saying, keep telling the truth with it. You need any help? We got you. Just message me. There we go. Another response here. Lisa, whoever that is, responding to Stevie. How do you have written statements on this? You were out of the country. Was she? When you say out of the country, do you mean out of the county or literally out of the US? Are you saying that Stevie Howard was abroad in a different country, like Germany, Spain, France? If anyone can clear that up, make sure to do so, because sometimes you do get spelling mistakes, as we've seen. But Lisa says, you don't know what happened. You weren't there. It's just hearsay. Truth is, your daughter had party, serving alcohol to minors, and a child lost his life. She should have been arrested months ago. Removing evidence from the house makes it look like someone is hiding something. True. And there's one there by Kaden, whatever, with a skeleton face. So it seems like people in the community are aware that the house was cleaned down shortly afterwards. Social media presence from partygoers, they were deleting certain activity there. All kinds of suspicious, like a clean-up job, right? And then you got Stevie Howard in defense saying, nope, the house wasn't cleaned down, it wasn't bleached, it was left abandoned for over a month. Come on. That's one of the silliest claims I've heard yet. What else do we have? There we go. Kaden responds back to Stevie. We literally went to Dollar General or Tree and bought it. Logan, Jasmine, and your daughter. I bet if we go there and ask, they would give us the tapes if they keep them. Right. So whilst the blame can be shifted onto the daughter, why do you keep saying daughter though? Are we saying Carter Combs? Are we saying Avery Combs? I'm assuming Avery because it said the birthday girl or something. It was her party, so it would be Avery. So Kaden is saying, Kaden... Wait, what's this? We literally went to Dollar General or Tree and bought it. We bought it. So Kaden... Wait, bought it, Logan, Jasmine, your daughter. Right, so Kaden, Logan, whoever that is, Jasmine Millan, and Avery Combs were all present at a store and bought alcohol. Right. What I'm getting at here, was Kaden Pressy aware of who was attending at the party before at the time of when that alcohol was bought, yes or no? Because if so, for Kaden to put the blame on Avery Combs and says, your daughter bought the alcohol, your daughter supplied it to people at the party, well, Kaden here is claiming that he was present at the time of when Avery bought the alcohol. Now, Kaden can be excused in a matter of innocence if Kaden at that moment was unaware that underage kids would be attending the party. If Kaden was aware, though, wouldn't Kaden just be as bad as Avery for buying the alcohol, as they say, we bought it, we were there, we saw it, we allowed it? What happened at the party itself, though? And as well, when was this alcohol bought? On the same day as the party beginning, halfway through the party, or before? A Friday, a Thursday? When was the alcohol bought then? And was it at a time when Kaden was aware underage people were attending the party? Because on the basis that that was the case, well then that kind of makes Kaden kind of as bad as Avery. Unless Kaden protested at the time saying, hey Avery, I don't think you should be buying alcohol, or if you do, best keep it under control. We don't want the younger partygoers under the influence. You get what I'm saying? Can't just shift all the blame onto one person if you were there yourself at the time of when the alcohol was bought. If we're talking about the blame as to how it was distributed at the party, well then maybe that can shift more towards Avery that had no restrictions or rules. But then that would be their fault. But I don't know, we've got to be careful when we read this, because Kaden is saying he was present at the time of when the alcohol was bought. And if people are blaming Avery for buying that alcohol, at least, well, if Kaden was there too, saying we bought it, well then doesn't that make Kaden guilty as well? That's all I'm saying. just when it comes down to wording and language and being realistic, unlike other people. So that appears to be it there. So it appears it's been quite eventful in recent time, more so on that Facebook page. I can understand why things like this, the likes of Stevie Howard and her attitude and her going on and on and on, and as well being so delusional and fixed on a hit and run when it has been ruled out a while ago. Why is Stevie so focused on a hit and run when the injury sustained to Noah don't really prove or suggest that? Has Stevie actually seen the autopsy report? If actual experts have said it can't be a hit and run, what makes Stevie know better? Is she an expert on that? No. So, bit delusional, broken record almost. One thing that has come in recent time, though, is almost like a catalyst, a turning point in which Kaden has shared his story of events, how things played out at the party, considering he was actually there, and it's triggered a reaction from these parents or adults who are connected to some of the kids that were at the party. It's kind of interesting, right? What is also interesting, the fact that some of the people with the biggest bark and bite, the ones that are yapping on the most, are people who weren't even at the party, but they are tied up in the case somehow. That's very interesting. That the fact that Sarah Long, the sister of Stevie Howard, has shown up now, what does it have to do with her? Why does it concern her? What, only because she was there at the time and that's why she's involved within it? Well, if she's truly within the case because she involved herself when she went on down to the party house, as for the timestamp given, it does not match up at all compared to what most of the people have been saying within the case and the likes of what Kaden has expressed himself, and even Jack Newton as well. I think there might have been some conversation in the past between Jack Newton and Stevie Howard, whether they're directly on side or not. It implies that that could be the case. But even Jack Newton, when he was retelling his side of the story, I wouldn't say it kind of runs in line with Stevie Howard's sister as for who was awake and who wasn't at 8 a.m. And to be honest, 8 a.m., even if there wasn't like a disaster going on, no breaking news, no shocking news, people could still well be up at 8 a.m. depending what was going on at the time, because, whether it be a work week or a school week, people do wake up early. And even when you may be off on holiday, you can still wake up early just because that's what you normally do. So, it just really doesn't link in with what this sister has to say. First time I've seen them show up, so that's interesting. And I'm just glad I was able to cover this because, as I said, it ended up being taken away. Not the post, but just the access to it, with it being a private page. But just know that this video was going to be done earlier. I just didn't have the chance. So credit to whoever, but the ones that shared on the screenshots, very helpful. I don't know what will happen next, because if the page remains private, I don't know how else you can get a hold of screenshots. I mean, I know other people could get the screenshots if you're members on the page, and that would be much appreciated. I know it requires extra work, and as a viewer, you shouldn't be forced to have to do that, but there's not really any other way around it, because I did try joining and that didn't turn out well. So it is what it is, but we'll just see how things go. Might be reposted elsewhere. You can reshare this video, of course. I hope people who are watching this, who did manage to stick around, I hope you found this video interesting, maybe eye-opening, some new characters and names learned along the way. Be sure to let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Who do you trust? Who don't you trust within the likes of Avery Combs, I guess, Kaden Pressy, Sarah Long, Stevie Howard, all those names popping up today. Who do you look to? Who are you suspicious of? Okay, let me know. And feel free to catch up on the recent videos, what I've done, and my playlist as well, which has them all together. eye symbol, you click on that top right corner, you'll be able to catch up on missed videos you may have never seen before. Be sure to catch up so you're all up to date with the latest talk and what we currently know of. I mean, there is a timeline that could be looked at. I probably wouldn't apply it onto the maps just yet, but I could go over a timeline. There's still some video ideas on the list that need to be ticked off. So during this wall of silence, whilst that page is private, I can do my own thing on the case and look at it from my perspective. Then once that's done, we'll have to see where we are there, because just as a heads up, I mean, obviously people don't want this case to drag on, they want justice, but on the basis that the case did drag on for whatever reason, for as long as there's always something to talk about and analyse, I will cover this case. To put it into perspective, with the Dylan Rounds case dragging out for nearly or over 2 years, I was covering that case for 2 years roughly. A total of 400 and something videos made. I don't know if I made it to the 500 mark, but I was close. There could be some details that come along the way. I mean, the sentencing of Brenner, I might do a separate video for that, just asking a simple question. Does anyone know where things at there? I looked at Glorindale and True Crime Utah, no mention at all. What's happened? You know, that Crime Con, which occurred June 2nd, the day before it was supposed to be the sentencing of Brenner. Not heard anything since. I guess we'll see what happens. Anything could happen round the corner with any case that, you know, we've looked into. But just be sure to like, share the videos. Feel free to subscribe if you want to try and keep up with my coverage, and the notifications should help guide you along the way. Appreciate the new viewers and the new perspectives, and for most part of it, positive as well, which is very good considering, you know, when we've come across messy situations in the past of other cases. It seems like the biggest head cases, the most problematic people are actually directly within the case who are expressing some of their thoughts online. Just so happens to be on Facebook, which isn't good for those people over there who are members on the page that just want to listen in and get along with one another. Bit of disruption, but you know what? If it's over there, fine. At least it's not on YouTube. But I did hear recently that there might be more people getting involved in the case on YouTube, which is a bit of a red flag, if I be honest with you. The more people that cover a case, which could be true crime, the more toxic it will become. Thank God I got here early, okay? I'm aware there are people from the Dylan Rounds case that have come on over to this case. The people that watch my channel, good to see. The people that may not, but operate elsewhere with another channel that covers the case, be cautious. There's one new viewer on my channel who's got like a black profile picture. You know who you are. I told you about who to be wary of, who to be cautious of. Some key names mentioned, as you will know now. Well, if we do come across any more problematic people at any point, and I know, or I'm familiar with them, I'll know who they are, I know where they came from, and I'll make it very clear. So all the new people that have come across my channel, all the regulars from the Noah Presgrove case know who is who, what is what, because believe me, I'm aware that there are people out there in the Noah Presgrove case that were previously covering the Dylan Rounds case and caused disruption, trouble, and what now? They're a white pure angel? For how long exactly? Okay, we've got stability here, we've got balance here, we've got multiple perspectives, intense consistency, and I'll attempt frequency as well. But that's for as long as there is things to talk about. If there's nothing to talk about, well, I'm not going to stretch or desperately try and find something. No. We'll see what happens next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Goodbye. Good night for now.